ஒரே பாரதம் உன்னத பாரதம் என்ற லட்சிய கனவோடு வல்லரசாகும் நாடாக வெற்றி நடை போட்டுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. உயர்ந்த மழை, பசுமையான காடுகள், தூய்மையான காற்று, சுத்தமான குடிநீர், சிறுதானிய உணவுகள், நோயற்ற வாழ்விற்கு தேனும் திணைமாவும் மூலிகை செடியும் மலர்களின் வாசமும் பழங்குடியினர் வாழ்வின் பொக்கிஷங்களாகும். விஞ்ஞான வாழ்க்கைக்கு உலகம் சென்றாலும் மெஞ்ஞான வாழ்க்கையில் எந்நாளும் வாழும் பழங்குடியினருக்கு ஜன்ஜாதி அதிவாஸ் எனும் பழங்குடியினர் பெருமை தின விழாவை உங்களுடன் சேர்ந்து கொண்டாட எங்களுக்கு வாய்ப்பளித்த ஆளுமை திறன்மிக்க மேதகு தமிழக ஆளுநர் ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு பழங்குடியின மக்களின் சார்பாக நெஞ்சார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்து, இந்த பழம்பெரும் பாரத நாட்டில் பழங்குடியின இனத்தில் என்னை பிறக்க வைத்த இறைவனுக்கும் எனக்கு ஒழுக்கத்துடன் கூடிய தரமான கல்வியை வழங்கி வரும் SFRB தொண்டு நிறுவன பள்ளிக்கும் என் மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்து விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Nandri Bhairavi. இப்போது Nishant Ranjan, BSc NS from IMU will address the gathering. Thiru Sumit Kumar, student Sumit Kumar will now address the gathering.
Good evening, respected Governor Sir, all dignities and all my dear students. Wish you all a very happy Jharkhand day. Let us rise and shine. Happy Jharkhand Foundation Day of 2023. According to Indo-Aryan language, the word Jharkhand, when rightly divided, will have two words, Jhar, which means forest, and Khand, which means piece of land. Jharkhand is popularly known as the lands of forest and a state with a leading mineral production after Chhattisgarh. The state is surrounded by the state of Bihar to the north, Uttar Pradesh to the northwest, Chhattisgarh to the west, Odisha to the south, and West Bengal to the east. When the state was formed on November 15, 2000, it was carved out of Bihar as Jharkhand as 28th state of India. After Parliament passed the Bihar Reorganization Act 2000. Before partition, it was part of the southern part of Bihar. This day coincided with the tribal leader, birth anniversary of tribal leader Birsa Munda, called Bhagwan Birsa. It is the land of tribals who wanted a separate state before the freedom movement. The climate of Jharkhand is humid from subtropical in the north to tropical, wet and dry in the southeast. The place consists of summer, rainy, autumn, winter and spring seasons. The state has the warmest region with an average temperature of 33 degrees centigrade with the best travel time from October to May. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much. Now we request the Honorable Governor to felicitate the eminent personalities of the day. The first couple will be Tirubomman and Tirubelli. Good round of applause hailing from Teppakade in the Mudumalai forest in Tamil Nadu. The couple Bomman and Belli belong to the forest dwelling community, the Kartanaika tribe. They are the stars of the Oscar-winning documentary, The Elephant Whisperers. Following the film's international recognition, the state and union government honored both the filmmakers and the couple with monetary rewards. They are now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor, Tirubomman and Tirumati Belli. Thank you. Next we welcome Dr. Alwas. He is the president of the Nilgiris Nava. He was awarded the Henry Gizenberg Fellowship by Junior Chamber of International for outstanding contributions towards the development of community and youth in Tamil Nadu. Dr. Alwas is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor with a good round of applause, resonating, resounding applause. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Tirumati Selvi from the Irula Women Welfare Society. She is 50 years of age. She is an invalid. She was unable to pursue education. She started self-help groups, and Ms. Selvi has participated in the G20 Women Conference held in Mamalapuram this year and gave speech on her journey with the community heading towards success. Mrs. Selvi is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Commander Gauri will now be felicitated. She has extensive experience of 16 plus years in Indian Navy. Commander Gauri has an illustrious career in the Navy as a logistics officer, and she has been a guest speaker at UN Commission for Women and has been featured in the numerous media houses and news channels. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We will now present the audio-visual speech of the Honorable Governor of Jharkhand.
Ravi, Manke, Johar. My best wishes and heartiest congratulations to all our people of Jharkhand on the 23rd Foundation Day of our state. I convey my greetings to all the governors and the lieutenant governors celebrating Jharkhand's Foundation Day in their respective states with the people of Jharkhand. Our state has a glorious history of sacrificing lives for the freedom of our nation. Bhagwan Birsa Munda ji, Sidhu Ganu ji, Nilambar Pidambar ji, Polo, Jono ji and many more great freedom fighters are our source of inspiration. Today is the birth anniversary of our great Bhagwan Birsa Munda ji. On this day, we all pay tribute to him. At the initiative of the most respected and the visionary leader of the world today, Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, Bhagwan Birsa Munda ji's birth anniversary being celebrated as Tribal Pride Day across the country. I express my gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister for his initiative on behalf of the people of Jharkhand. We are indebted to former Prime Minister Bharat Ratna, late Adal Bihari Vajpayee ji, under whose visionary leadership the state of Jharkhand formed. I feel proud that I also voted in favor of formation of Jharkhand state in that year as the member of Lok Sabha. Today, you can find people of Jharkhand not only in various states of the country, but also across the globe and playing a significant role in the economical development of mankind. People of Jharkhand are kind, polite, simple, hardworking, generous and culturally rich. We are very proud of our people of Jharkhand for the sense of loving and protecting Mother Nature. They have preserved their traditions, languages, cultural values and rituals such as Mela, Atra, Sarpur, Karma Puja and many more. They have demonstrated their way of life without compromising on modernity. I wish we must take Jharkhand economical development to the new peaks. That is our Sankalp on this day. Jai Hind, Jai Jharkhand.
We now request the Honorable Governor to address the gathering.
Padma Shri Masi Sadaya, Padma Shri Vadivel, respected Commander Gauri Misra, eminent personalities present here, distinguished invitees, my dear students coming from different schools, friends from media, gracious ladies and gentlemen, my warmest greetings and best wishes to all of you on this special day, which is special for three regions. One, it is the state Jharkhand Day. 23 years ago, Jharkhand state was carved out of Bihar on this day. It's a day when Bhagwan Birsa Munda, a great freedom fighter, an iconic leader of tribal resistance against the British was born, and thanks to the Prime Minister Modi, that this day is now celebrated for last couple of years as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, a day of pride for and glory for our Janjatis, our tribes of this country. Friends, a statehood day we celebrate, which we have started again, initiative of the Prime Minister, because we find in our day-to-day life, we are all busy, engrossed in our local affairs, confined to our state, and over the years we find getting more and more insular. At the time of independence, we had hardly about a dozen states. States have multiplied to 28 and 8 union territories. And each state, people living therein, largely their life is getting confined to that state. Of course, there are people who are working in other parts of the country and even abroad. But a sense of new identity that I am from this state, I am from that state, this is growing, this is multiplying. And in the process, person of one state is not aware of the beauty, the richness, the geography and culture of other parts of India which is falling in other states. Ours is a beautiful country, rich in human resources, rich in geography, immensely rich in culture. And culture of this country exists in continuum from one part of the country to the other. If you travel along from Kanyakumari to Kashmir by road, and if you stop every 50 kilometers spend time, you will not find a difference, a marked difference. But over a distance, suppose you go 500 kilometers, you find the difference. So this incremental differences that happens in human life, in human society, when viewed in continuum, we see the oneness. But when we see in segments, it looks different. And creation of states, which were essentially a political and administrative delimitation of Bharat, because of course Bharat is much, much older. Our oldest state is not even 100 years old. Jharkhand is 23 years old. Telangana is not even 10 years old. So new states are coming and will come for better governance, for meeting the aspirations of the people. But the fact is, this is the part of the whole, contributing through its richness to the beauty of the whole. This we are missing increasingly. We are getting insular and insular more and more. So the idea behind the Statehood Celebration Day beyond the state, because the statehood is celebrated in that state for political reason, that we got the state. Good. But the rest of the country also must know the beauty of the people and the place, which is a part of Bharat. Jharkhand is one such a state, immensely rich in natural resources, immensely rich in culture, immensely rich in bravery, and various talents. We have heard Commander Gauri Mishra mentioned about sports persons. Yes, it has produced the world-class sports. It is there in the blood. So, when we celebrate a statehood day of Jharkhand, we are celebrating the diversity of this country. We need to know more and more. Other day, just 2 weeks back, we celebrated a statehood day of so many states, because the 1st of November is the state on which even the whole Madras state was reorganized. So many other states were created. Linguistic reorganization of states happened. And we celebrated in a beautiful way. We had more than 1,500 people who assembled here, and it was a wonderful time. Seeing the beauty of our country, beauty located in different parts of the different pockets of this country. So that is how the idea of a statehood day, celebration of a statehood day all over the country. Jharkhand is not. It doesn't belong only to the people of Jharkhand. It is a part of India. It belongs to the whole of country, and the whole of the country must be proud of it. But to be proud of it, we must know what is this state. What is special about it? What is unique about it? This is an occasion to know more about different parts of our country. That is the rationale behind statehood day celebrations all over the country, and for which I believe that Prime Minister deserves an accolade, that there is a person visionary who thought of it. It's a birthday of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. As we all know that he was a great freedom fighter. You know, this country got independence from the colonial rulers by paying heavy price. Heavy price in terms of blood, in terms of sweat, in terms of suffering. Thousands and thousands of people gave their life. And among those thousands, they were from millions, they were from all over the country. Unfortunately, we started forgetting them. Our national freedom movement, it started fading out of our memory. When we start forgetting those who gave their life, those who suffered for the freedom that we are enjoying today, if we forget them, this is ingratitude of the highest order. And a society that is ungrateful to its martyrs cannot prosper. It doesn't have a good future. And when we start looking at the people, those who gave life, contributions of our Janjatis, our tribes, is enormous. Unfortunately, we don't find them written in our books. Of course, our books don't even carry others, so many others. Freedom history as if appeared as if it's a handful of people. As if it was a drawing room conversation in a conversation with a talk with the British who got it. It came as a gift. No, my friends, it has come after heavy blood. A lot of price we paid. And in that fight, our tribal brothers and sisters, they paid immense price. I had occasion to serve in the northeast part of India. Before I visited that area over 3.5 decades ago, almost 4 decades, I didn't know much about the resistance movement in the Northeast, resistance against the British, against a few names from Assam. But when I went and started seeing the place and meeting the people, every village fought. British did not get even an inch of this land without fight. And our tribal brothers and sisters, they fought. valiantly. They gave their life. When I went to Nagaland, I found thousands of Nagas, they gave their life fighting the British to keep them away. They are not on our records. When you went to Meghalaya, every inch there was a tribal leaders who resisted the British, and many of them, they gave their life. It's all over. And that's the story all over the country. But unfortunately, their contribution especially does not find any reference in our national freedom movement. This is nothing but ingratitude of the highest order. And that is how the Prime Minister thought. In the 75 years of independence, we must document, we must research and document unsung heroes of our national freedom movement. And when we started looking, we started getting in thousands and thousands. In our own land, here in our own state, several thousand people gave their life. Not hundreds, several thousands gave their lives. And they are nowhere. Their descendants are not even aware. They could be in personal capacity, but the neighbor is not aware that here is a person whose grandfather gave life for the freedom that we are enjoying today. Now, this is not acceptable. So when we started building, documenting them, we must remember them. We must remember that the freedom that we are enjoying has come at a heavy cost. And in that exercise, we have to document the contribution of our tribal brothers and sisters, those who fought the British, and they fought valiantly in large number. When I came here, I started looking into trying to understand the people and the place and the people. And then, when I started looking into the history of the tribals, written by the British, and the books given to me by people with a lot of saying that this is a great author. He has written the history of so-and-so tribe. And when I started reading, I felt disgusted. Disgusted because the man writes that we went with the vernier caliper, measured the nose, the jaw, and this. Is it the way you treat a human being? Making distinction between tribes. Could they use the same vernier caliper on their own people? Europeans? No. But they did. And they documented. But look at the mental slavery. We have come to a stage that those who humiliated us, those who tormented us, we refer their name with a lot of respect, as if they documented and did a great history. This deep indoctrination, this enslavement is far more dangerous. That is why Mahatma Gandhi on 15th of August 1947, when the people were celebrating independence and he was sulking in a Bhangi colony of Delhi remote area, when the journalist asked him, why are you not happy? The country is celebrating independence. He said, look, British have left us only physically. They are still in our mind. We have to work hard to remove them out of our mind. And they have gone into our mind to such an extent that I am given a book or a couple of books written by the British civil servant or so-called British anthropologist, revered by our people today, those people who have ill-treated our people. And he has also mentioned how resistance was felt, how people fought. They tried to chase them away, they had to run away, then they came back with reinforcement of armed people, armed military, to occupy the land. and to do the exercise, what they call academic exercise. Remind us that our tribal brothers and sisters, they are part of our family and they have contributed immensely to our national life, including our national freedom movement. And we must be proud of them. Today, when you go to a tribal colony, invariably, someone who takes you there identifies them with their primitiveness, with their backwardness, as if backwardness is a tribal culture. Somehow, in the name of culture, misreading what culture is all about, we did not do much to lift them up. A person who is a tribal doesn't mean that the person cannot have a decent pakka house. A tribal means, it doesn't mean that the lady has to cook food only on the woods, burning the woods and charcoal. She shouldn't have cooking gas. Tribal doesn't mean that she has to go and fetch water from the far off water pool and not to have a water tap in the house. Modern amenities of life is a right of everyone. Education is as much their right as of anybody else. But when we look at the overall areas, indices of development, our tribal brothers and sisters, they are left behind. How can a country grow when you are keeping your own people, such a large number of people? And they are large because in our country we have over 10 crores, over 8.5%, more than 8.5% of our population are scheduled tribe people. Their number is more than 10 crores. Even if the number is less, like especially these primitive tribal groups, their number in a couple of millions, 75 of them together perhaps about 28 or 30 lakhs. Even one person is important, 28 lakhs is a large number. They have to be part of our national journey. They have to be made, they have to be equipped, they have to be enabled, they have to be given all that is due to them so that they march hand in hand with rest others in taking this country to its destiny. Country cannot grow by keeping these people behind and all the time saying this is the tribal culture. I think there has been a huge degree of exploitation of tribal communities just in the name of preserving their culture. And it has been there right from the beginning. Very first, soon after, in the first decade after independence, our tribal policy of Government of India was shaped by a person called very irrelevant, the British guy, who convinced the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister, that they are innocent people, close to nature, they should not be contaminated with modernity or civilization. And this was accepted. I really wonder what amount of injustice has been caused to them. Culture is identity of a community, but that does not lie in just all the time remaining in poverty, remaining in backwardness, remaining illiterate. There are some prosperous tribal communities in our country. Go to them. They retain their culture. But they have produced the best of scientists, best of professors, best of administrators serving at the higher positions in government, central and state governments, without losing their cultural identity. Now confusing or conflating and mixing the cultural identity with poverty, with backwardness, living away with a primitive lifestyle, that is exploitation. I went to the village of Tirumasi Sadaim and Vadivel Gopal. I have visited some tribal villages in Tamil Nadu. I was touched. No, Masi Sadaim mentioned about they catch a snake. And that is the introduction. People say, when I wanted to visit those people, I was told there are snake catchers. Now, when you say snake catchers, what kind of image gets into your mind? What do we know? That they are the people who are responsible for saving lives of millions people in our country who suffer a snake bite. Because they are the people who catch the most dangerous snakes, cobras, vipers, a spitting viper, carides, take this venom and give it to the pharmaceutical companies who make anti-venom out of that. The community that saves the lives of millions of people every year all over the country. They are snake catchers. Is it the way? And then you look at the conditions. When I visited the village, there is no one in the officer class anywhere. At the most, they are class 4 employees. That's the end of it. No. I think we have been ungrateful to these people. And this is not acceptable. This Darwinian model of growth that our country has been going through, that okay, smart people, rich people, influential people, they grab the resources, they get richer, rest deprived, not those, what they call survival of the fittest. Fittest means you are cunning, you are crooked, you will be called a smart. No, this is not, this way of development, this model of development is not acceptable. It will not take India where India should be. And that is why the Prime Minister launched the model Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Everyone to come along. Don't leave anyone. And under that very policy, now there is a greater thrust to pull these people, about more than 10 crores people, Janjatis, our tribal people, to bring them up at par with others. We would like to see in coming days, coming years, that our tribal people in a space agency, in atomic agency, in higher echelons of administrations, IAS, IPS officers, great economists, they must. And only then this country will progress. Only then this country will be where it deserves to be. And then, for this we need to first acknowledge that they are not people who to be looked down upon and looked as if they are not part of us. They are not museum pieces. Varial Elvin has made them museum pieces. They are our brothers and sisters. And they have contributed immensely. And when we remember their contribution, then we say, Janajati Gaurav, we have to be proud of them. And now, this very day, today, Prime Minister launched several schemes. 24,000 crores, a scheme for this community, for the tribal community, to uplift them. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning. And that is why this day, when we assemble and celebrate Jharkhand Statehood Day, celebrate Bhagwan Birsa Munda Day, when we celebrate Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, the theme, the core of it is one and one. And that is due recognition of the contribution of our tribal brothers and sisters to our national freedom movement and their rightful ownership of our future. And our obligation, the country's obligation, to enable them to be capable of that. That is the purpose of this day. And I would wish, and I'm sure, our tribal brothers and sisters will do that. They will take advantage of all the schemes. They would educate their children. The children would have bigger dreams in life. I have visited some of the Eklavya school here. Some of the schools, I found the children very bright, very ambitious. I felt so happy that look, this child, his or her father or mother might have been living in poverty, but this child has a great dream. It is our obligation to create the ecosystem, the environment where she or he should be able to fulfill the dream. And that is precisely what the government, central government is doing, what the Prime Minister is doing. And I'm sure in the next 24, 25 years that we have before us, when we celebrate the centenary of our independence, not far off, just about 2.5 decades to go. In 2.5 decades, we have to see that our tribal brothers and sisters are at par, if not ahead of the rest. It has to be, there is no alternative. That is why now, it is not an age of incremental change, incremental improvement. It is we have to leapfrog, we have to make a quantum jump. That's the only way. We cannot say that, okay, we have educated so many, now next year we'll do that. We have electrified so many houses, we electrified so much. No, this is not. It's not possible. We cannot wait. We have lost a lot of precious time. No more. That's why we have the target. The nation has a target that the next 2.5 decades, we have to bring them up with milestones that yes, in the next 5 years where there should be, in the next 10 years where they will be. It is not that we will wait for the 25 years to pass. And with that mission, with that commitment to fulfill that vision to make this country as a fully developed country, to see that every member of our community, which is our country, which is a family, every member, including our tribal brothers and sisters, they are equal partner in making this country great. Friends, I wish all of you present here and beyond the very happy Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, Bhagwan Birsa Munda's Janma Divas, as well as, of course, Jharkhand Statehood Day. Thank you very much. Jai. Jai.
Thank you, sir. Time now for some beautiful cultural event, a feast for the eyes. So we request the Honorable Governor and the dignitaries to enjoy the cultural program from the downstage. Thank you.